Greetings, viewers. It's been some time since I successfully repelled the Reaper invasion by picking the correct ending, destroy. Joe and Barack were obviously very ungrateful of the sacrifices I had to make to save the galaxy.
Screw you, Donald. The Crucible hurt like hell, and now I can't remember anything past the last time we spoke.
So no different than usual?
How are we even back?
We always come back, Barack. We are eternal. Now I have a proposition for you, gentlemen. This is a tier list of which Mass Effect aliens we could beat in a fight.
I'm shocked one of you lazy jackasses actually got up and made your own tier list instead of leaving it up to me.
Here we have basically every known alien across the Mass Effect franchise. I even included some of the losers from Andromeda.
There are quite a few species missing here.
Some of the aliens, like the Inusanan and the Raloi, aren't in this because there isn't any real information on them. Plus, there's no official artwork.
So what are the rules here?
It's simple enough. Head-to-head fight using only what is naturally gifted to you, so no weapons that you can't make yourself. The alien in question is just some random individual of the species, so you're not fighting Rex or Liara, just some random Asari or Krogan. Also, I know the two of you are out of shape compared to me, so let's assume you're both in your peak physical condition.
Donald, I know you are not talking about me when you're built like the Hamburglar.
What was the last time you ran a mile, Donald?
When was the last time you walked up some stairs without tripping up them, old man? Now, enough talk. The first alien we got here is a gas bag, a species native to Eden Prime. Now, I don't know about you two, but I would paint the wall in their blood.
Jenkins claims they are harmless and they explode if you even look at them the wrong way. We slam them.
When the gas bags explode, they do release toxic gas in the air. So if you're too close, it's probably going to be 50-50.
I'll just throw a rock at it or something. It's painting the walls 100%. Now we got the Reaper variant of the Harvesters.
Nope, not fighting that, and even if I did want to, we'd get torn to shreds. The Reaper Harvesters have cannons on their face.
I always knew you were a coward, Joe. Me personally, I'm fighting and it would be 50-50.
You are out of your damn mind. Put it in. I'd be too scared to fight.
You have zero faith in your boy. Now we have Spitbugs, a little creature from Andromeda. I would stomp this thing into the dirt.
Hold on, Donald. It's not that simple. Spitbugs have a hard exoskeleton. They're the size of a small dog. They can sense movement, and they spit a corrosive acid that can eat through metal.
Are we sure this thing didn't crawl out of some hole in Australia?
Okay, fine. It would get a few hits in, but I would still win.
I think that's fair, but if it attacks first, you're not going to be able to ignore the pain of your skin melting off.
I think Donald is right. The Spitbugs can be a problem, but they aren't naturally hostile. We would get the first strike.
Finally, Joe is making some sense. Now we got an L-Core.
You're not fighting an L-Core. Those things are like 0% body fat and built of nothing but lean muscle mass.
You're crazy, Joe. The L-Core are too slow. They need to mount cannons on their backs to do anything. You might not be fast enough to take them, but me, I'm about to hit them with the 1-2 electric boogaloo.
Donald, those hits wouldn't even piss an L-Core off, much less hurt it. And you could argue that the L-Core are the strongest of the Mass Effect aliens since they live on a planet with 4 times Earth's gravity, compared to the Krogan's 1.14.
All right, I'm not trying to get into the math here, Barack. Regardless of what you say, there's no way an L-Core is touching me.
Well, there isn't anything you can do to beat one barehanded, so it's 50-50, but you're going to get tired eventually, Donald, and then it'll grab you, and then it's GG.
Put it in, I'd get a few hits in and lose. You ain't him, Donald.
I knew I should have called Rogan and Shapiro to do this with me instead.
Is that the Thorian up next?
It's just a giant vegetable.
Yeah, no, it may be a stationary enemy, but it has mind control spores and it can turn you into one of its slaves. I'd be too scared to fight it, and so should you.
Yep, Barry's got it right there.
Cowards, all you have to do is shoot its weak points and it'll fall. Shepard and crew did it.
Donald, you are not Shepard.
Bro thinks he's gonna have Rex and Garrus watching his back while he does this.
Fine, now we got another bug from Andromeda. It's a pallid.
It's just a tiny bug. And unlike the spit bug, this one doesn't carry poison. Stomp it out and paint the walls in its blood.
Quick and easy, moving on to the pod crab, a creature we see on Vermeer. Get me a big old pot and some water and I'll boil those things.
All the pod crabs do is run around in circles on Vermeer. I'm pretty sure we could just push them over.
These things are brain dead. They don't respond to danger, and I'm pretty sure they're not hostile enough to fight back. We paint the walls with them.
Okay, now we have the organic variant of the Harvesters.
Organic harvesters attack by seemingly giving birth to Clixon and flying off. We may as well count those here too.
Okay, now I know the Reaper ones were different, but these are just giant worm necks.
Donald, those motherfuckers are still gigantic. And they either spawn Clixon to fight you or they're intelligent enough to pick Clixon up and use them as shock troops. What's stopping the harvester from dropping you from 100 feet in the air?
And Klickson are fire-breathing bugs that explode when they die, so even if you beat them, you're still screwed.
Okay, well, since you two seem to know everything, where should we place them?
Too scared to fight the harvester, and I'd get a few hits in but lose to the Klickson.
Too scared to fight either of them.
You pair of little bitches are too scared to fight anything that isn't a bug. Speaking of which, now we have space beetles, another easy W.
Not so fast. There are two variations of space beetles, really big ones and really small ones. The big ones are the size of cows and have a hard outer shell.
So what? They're non-hostile and that shell isn't covering their eyes. I would punch them into mush.
Donald's right, they're big, but that's it. I'm not even sure they know how to attack.
Another silly bug from Andromeda. It's a Shemries, and I only have one word to say about this: squish.
They do spit a digestive enzyme, but it's pretty easy to dodge.
Definitely painting the walls a fine spider color after I take this thing out.
Now we've got a pyjack.
I could take one of those things on my worst of days.
Pyjacks are so beneath me that fighting them isn't worth the trouble.
Paint the walls, and I'll do so with a smile on my face. Time for a big boy from Andromeda, and even I'll admit these things are tough. I'm thinking it's a good 50-50.
Donald, do you think you can fight literally anything?
Nothing you've said you can fight is actually winnable for you. An eye rock wouldn't even need to touch you. You'd just melt from its acidic spit. You get torn to shreds, but I wouldn't even try to fight it.
Same, I'd run away and hope to God the IROC doesn't follow me.
Oh, come on. All you have to do is just attack the weak spots on its head, rear, and sides. Ryder does it all the time.
You are not Ryder.
Bro thinks he's a super soldier with an AI backing them up. Too scared to fight, Donald.
You might need an AI to be a badass, Joe, but I sure don't. Next up, we have a Krogan, and I'll admit this one would be close, but I'd ultimately lose. The Krogan is just that good.
Did you just say a fight with a Krogan would be close?
Zaid says all you need is a knife and you can pull a Krogan's head plate off.
First of all, you said we would be empty-handed. Second of all, you're not Zaid.
Donald, did the Crucible fry what little sense you had left? You would get torn to shreds.
Fine, next we have the Swarmer, the Reaper variant of Rachni workers. Now come on, this one is easy.
Swarmers die in a single hit. This one should go in painting the walls.
The only way these things can attack is by jumping on you and blowing up. They're slow too. Paint the walls.
Now we've got a Yogg.
Stronger than the Krogan, they're an apex predator with the ability to track prey and predict movement, and they have armored skin. I'd be too scared to fight.
Good argument, Barack.
You doubters are just going to go against me again, so whatever. Too scared it goes.
You're really thinking you can beat these aliens, aren't you, Donald?
Nothing is impossible. Now we have the Cannibal, a Reaper mishmash of humans and Batarians.
These guys are pretty weak, but the issue we have is that they have guns grafted into their bodies. I could probably box one up close.
You finally grew a pair, Joe. That gun ain't shit.
Neither of you old bastards is dodging a bullet, and up close, cannibals can spit up stomach acid to digest you quicker. Though I'll admit they're pretty slow opponents, that gun makes it hard to win. I would put it in, I'd get a few hits in.
Know-it-all Obama over here ruining the fun. Now we got the flashlight heads. Let's just assume these are the humanoid variant. No Colossus or armament. I'm putting my hands on those damn bots.
They are made of metal, sure. You could punch one, but you'd probably be hurting yourself more than you're hurting it. Plus, they're robots. Eventually, you'll get tired and lose.
Now we've got Batarians. Hear me out on this. They have 4 eyes, which is 2 times the weak spots to punch them in.
Honestly, I agree. I don't rank Batarians that high at all. The only thing they have is sharp teeth, but biting me puts them in prime eye-punching range.
All my homies hate Batarians. It might be a close one, but we got this one. Next up there is the Asari.
I'd smash.
It's a fight, Donald, not a smash or pass.
I'll say it again, smash.
Physically, the Asari are inferior to humans, but they have psychic powers by default, even if they don't train them.
If Samara's daughter Rila is anything to go off of, untrained Asari can't do more than shoot small blasts of biotics that only serve as a nuisance, but I'll still say it's 50-50.
I'm still smashing. Back to Andromeda, we got a Chilerian.
I hate those damn things. They have a cloaking ability and a spit attack. We'd never see it coming and get torn to shreds.
I'll give Andromeda points for having wildlife that's actually threatening.
I won't give Andromeda points for anything. Now it's Marauder shields.
Nope, not fighting that.
Oh, hell no, brother.
We are actually all in agreement on this one. Time for the adjutants.
Realistically, I'd be too scared to fight. At best, the adjutants just eviscerate you, and at worst, they transform you into one of them.
They're not that scary.
The second one touched you, you'd be pissing and shitting yourself, Donald. Too scared to fight.
Now we have the Ravagers, Reaper versions of the Rachni.
Ravagers have cannons on them, but once you get up close, they don't have much defense. It might be winnable.
Just need a plus-size bottle of Raid.
The sacs on their bodies are good weak spots. But when you pop them, you'll have a bunch of swarmers right on you and be surrounded by acidic liquid. The rest of the Ravagers' bodies are synthetic and a lot tougher to deal with. At best, you'd get a few hits in. But the second one of those sacks explodes, you're done. That's without even considering the fact that you need to get close first.
I can't believe you're being the nerd on this one, Barack.
I gotta admit, you're taking this too seriously, Barry.
If we're doing this, we're doing it right. Not about to just let you do whatever you want.
Now we have the actual Rachni.
Y'all remember what happened to that guy, Yaroslav Tartakovsky? Recall what we saw the Rachni do to him?
Yes, Barack, I do recall.
Torn to shreds.
All right, fine. I guess the bugs really are all that. Another Andromeda creature, it's the Targ.
That guy looks like a problem.
It might as well be a rhino. You're not fighting that.
All you gotta do is jump on it and ride it until it goes down. Wait.
No, continue that thought, Donald.
No, I don't think I will. I think I'll just put it in torn to shreds and we can move on from what I just said. Now we have Solarians, and there's no way you're going to convince me we don't absolutely slam those nerdy amphibians.
A Solarian won't go down without a fight. They're tall and quick, but the majority of them aren't known for their offense and defense, especially without their tools.
I think they'd get a few hits in, but we'd win in the end. This isn't Morden or Kirahi we're talking about, just a nameless Solarian.
Now we have the Banshees, and the rage boost I received from seeing these things would carry me to an easy W. How dare they stand where the Asari stood?
Bro thinks he's Broly. No rage boost is getting you a win against a Banshee.
I wouldn't even want to fight one. They stab you and then look you dead in the eye as they just destroy you with biotics. Put them in too scared to fight.
Now we have the Remnant, Andromeda's own little bot problem.
The one pictured appears to be an assembler. Those guys, while weak, can assemble more enemies to fight.
All you got to do is run up and stomp it in its weak point.
They have lasers and grenades. You have to get close first.
I think it's doable, but unlikely. Put it in close but lose because they're still synthetic. Stomping one out will be hard.
Now we have the Protheans.
The only Prothean we ever met was Javik, but they seem to be a naturally biotic race on top of being far more advanced.
They would tear us to shreds.
Now we've got the Space Vermin, Vorcha.
Vorcha are pretty underrated. They can adapt to basically anything, cuts, low atmosphere, or high gravity, and they have limited regeneration.
Too bad they're dumb as bricks and are prone to rage. I think we can take them, but it would be close.
Like I'd ever lose to a Vorcha?
Realistically, this is close. If you fight smart, a Vorcha will come at you stupid, giving you a good shot at victory. Give it 50-50.
Time for the big stupid jellyfish.
The Hanar are not to be underestimated. They may be slow on land, but according to Zaid, they can choke you out pretty good.
The Hanar also secrete a toxin too, but they aren't strong enough to lift more than a few hundred grams, so it's not like they're going to be swinging you around or anything.
The Hanar need an entirely different species of alien to handle their military operations, and this fight isn't taking place in water. I slammed them.
Agreed, they'd get some hits in, but we still win.
Time for the Volus. This should be a low diff.
As long as the biotic god isn't among them, we'll be fine.
Volus are fat and slow, and all you need to do is pop their suit open and their flesh will just explode. They'll probably get some hits in, though.
Is that the f***ing Leviathan up next?
Man, I eat bigger sea creatures than that for lunch.
Bullshit. The Leviathan downs full-blown reapers for fun and giggles, and don't even get me started on its mind control effect. Put those big bastards in too scared to fight.
You two gotta learn how to believe in yourselves. Believe in the me that believes in you.
You're gonna die like Kamina did if you think you're fighting a Leviathan, Donald.
Now we have those weird-looking aliens from Andromeda.
Those are the Angara, and I don't believe there's anything particularly unique about them. Though they're certainly pretty tough since they need to survive in harsh environments, so this is probably a clear 50-50.
Now we've got the Manta from Andromeda. I'm not even sure these things are enemies.
They aren't hostile and constantly fly high in the air.
I'll throw a rock at it.
It'll probably just use its camouflage ability to hide. These things won't fight us, and we can't take it out barehanded, so just do 50-50, Donald.
And thankfully it won't fight us because I just looked and these guys are 30 meters long.
What the fuck is a meter? This is America Joe. We measure in feet.
Yeah, whatever. Move on.
Now we got the loser, Ket. I'll never let myself be defeated by these dog-shit Andromeda enemies.
You don't have a choice. The Ket are covered in armor that Lexi compares to a Krogan's headplate. You could get a few hits in, and then you'd lose.
Now we have the Collectors. We slaughtered these things in Mass Effect 2.
They are legit tougher Protheans. We can't hurt them.
We gotta punch them in the eyes.
Donald, this isn't the Legend of Zelda. Eyes are not just universal weak spots. Plus, it's not like the Collector is going to just stand there and let you hit it. You would get torn to shreds, the same as the Protheans.
Time for the Toads.
To our knowledge, the Drell don't have a formal military, and only a chosen few serve as assassins for the Hanar. For the most part, they're comparable to humans, but with a slightly higher muscle density.
Don't they all have lung cancer or something? We outlast them.
Only the Drell who spend a long time on Kaiji suffer from Kepral's syndrome. For the most part, they are usually fine. I think this is 50-50.
Agreed. As long as we're not fighting one with assassin training or biotics, we have a chance.
I can't believe you're making me put the toads in 50-50.
Bruh, is that just a literal Reaper up next? Too scared to fight?
We kill like 10 of them across the trilogy.
Unless you have an M920 cane attached to your arm, Donald, you're not stopping a Reaper.
Just wait until I get my arm cannon upgrade.
The Wild Adi is next.
That thing comes near me, I'm giving it a German suplex.
You'd lose your arm before trying.
The Adi are basically dinosaurs. It would tear you apart.
It's like the size of a dog.
And if a large-sized dog attacked you, you probably wouldn't be able to stop it, Donald. Get torn apart and think about how wrong you are.
Imagine being afraid of a dog. Now we have the Keepers, low-tier opponents.
Don't they basically self-destruct if you touch them or something?
More or less, as it goes, if you touch them, they'll release acid within their bodies and melt into a puddle.
It sounds like they turn themselves into paint for us.
Plain and simple. Now we've got the Quarians. And I have one simple word for this one: cough.
Even allowing the Quarians to have their suits, it's not like they're especially physically powerful.
Once you puncture the suit and give them some infection by breathing on them, the Quarians are screwed. This is basically how Calrigar dies in Mass Effect 3. However, Grunt does note that killing a Quarian requires you to work the knife, so to speak, implying that they are pretty tough.
That toughness won't matter when our body fluids are toxic to them.
True, they get a few hits in, but we win.
Next are the green little Rachni workers. Bug go squish.
Hey, don't these guys suicide charge you and do toxic damage?
They get exactly one hit in when they blow up, and we win, though I don't think we're surviving their toxic damage for long.
Nothing is more toxic than me. I'm basically immune to it.
That's actually the most logical thing you've said all day, Donald.
We still win either way. Didn't say anything about us surviving in the long run.
What's this thing, an echidna like Knuckles from Sonic?
Not quite, but still. These things aren't protected by armor or anything, but they have a strong tail that'll fuck you up at close range, and a spit attack for long range.
It has no armor. I just beat it up, no problem.
Yeah, okay, bud, I'll give you it'd be a close one, but you're still losing, and now we have a Thresher Maw.
You wouldn't even have time to be afraid. The Thresher would just come up from beneath you, and that's it, curtains.
Torn to shreds it is.
Now we've got some little crab thing called a drawl.
These guys attack with their horns, but they're still pretty weak.
Just flip it onto its shell and stomp on it until it stops moving. We turn them into paint, and now we move on to the husk. These are nothing more than weak infantry.
You're not taking a husk barehanded. They're covered in cybernetics, and once they get close to you, they let loose electricity.
I would dodge it.
Yeah, no, you'd get one shot like Legion did during the Reaper IFF mission. Few hits in and you'd lose.
Maybe you two think you'd lose to a husk, but I am him. I'm putting it in 50-50 and you can't stop me.
You're dumb as hell, Donald.
Now we have the space cows, and I'm planning on making myself a well-done space steak.
First of all, well done is just long for burnt. Second of all, could you even beat a real cow in a fight?
Ever hear of cow tipping?
Sure, but have you heard of boy tipping?
If the space cows are anything like real cows, it'll charge you and stomp you out if you piss it off. You'll get a few hits in and lose. I mean, it has arms for crying out loud. It could box you.
Can't believe you're saying we lose to a space bovine. Anyway, now we have the Kerkin, a space spider from Andromeda.
It's a bug and a small one at that.
Say less, we already know where it goes. Time for the birds.
Turian's actually a toss-up. They don't typically have biotics, and they aren't exactly known for their defense.
We eat them like we eat chicken.
Objection. Unlike the other races, all Turians undergo military training starting at age 15, meaning that even if this isn't Garrus or Nyreen, we're still dealing with a trained fighter.
You always have to know everything, don't you, Barack?
We get a few hits in and lose. Turians are taller than us on average, giving them better reach, and you could even say they have us on flexibility.
Winding down here, now we have a brute.
Huge past their zero shot, we take those.
Come on, Joe, all you gotta do is dodge it like a bull.
How long can you keep that up? Dodging it doesn't mean you're gonna hurt it.
Anyone with any survival instincts would haul ass. Anyone without them would die. Too scared to fight.
Next up is the Galorn, a beast from Andromeda. Its weak spot is on its head, so I'll just run up and deck it.
And that'll be your last mistake.
You aren't Mike Tyson, Donald, and a punch from you wouldn't hurt a Galorn's armored skin. It would rush you down, torn to shreds.
Now we have a human, remember, just a normal person, not an Alliance Marine.
As far as I know, humanity doesn't go through any major evolutions in the 22nd century aside from our increased lifespan and gene therapy for birth defects. We're mostly the same, so this one would be a clear 50-50. It all comes down to who you're fighting.
The second to last alien is a Rilkor, some raptor-looking thing from Andromeda.
They have spit attacks, whack you with their tail at close range, and they're armored.
So they get a few hits in and I win?
No, Donald, you lose. Did you do this entire tier list just to say you can beat everything?
I am that guy. I stopped the Reaper invasion. I'm the real-life version of Commander Shepard.
No, you're the AI version of every bar guy who thinks they can fight a bear or wolf.
Put the Rilkor in, you'd get in a few hits, then lose.
Okay, well, you can't stop me from saying I beat a Varen. It's going going in, they'd get a few hits in, then I'd win.
You're absolutely out of your mind. What are you going to do when a Varen attacks you?
I'll let it have my arm, then I'll just rip and tear over and over again until it stops.
What the f*** are you ripping and tearing?
Its eyes.
You would go into shock from the pain and the bleeding and probably have a heart attack.
After I tear its eyes out, I'll just wrap around it and break its neck.
Donald, Varen are like the size of wolves.
A wolf is like a mid-diff victory for me.
Did you just say you could beat a wolf?
They're just dogs. People wrestle their dogs all the time.
I cannot believe you're really saying you could beat a wolf and also saying you could beat a Varen.
It would be easy, and you can't convince me that it would be anything more than a 50-50 shot.
It is not a 50-50 shot, Donald. You'd probably get f***ed up by a house cat if you fought one.
I'm putting it in 50-50.
Completely f***ing delusional.
Shut up, Barack. This is my tier list, and I say I have even odds against a Varen.
Yeah, if this is how you're doing it, it'll be the last time I'll let you run things. I'll catch you boys later.
Okay, but real talk, Donald, do you want to do a Mass Effect alien smash or pass?
My man, let's start with the Krogan.
Female Krogan? You know, I wasn't sure about it back when we were talking about Kesh. But thinking about Bakara, I kind of get it now.
I knew you'd come around, Joe.